Welcome everybody to another exciting episode of You Must Be Joking.
Right?
Yeah.
Woo! Good morning.
Hey. And we actually have another guest. We have Mike Ennis, my son. He is in...
Hello, everybody.
Oh, hold on here. Let me get back on here.
Uh-oh, what'd you do?
There you go.
Disconnect and reconnect?
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, there he is. He's in North Carolina there, so you guys can send hate mail that direction if you care to.
Oh, man. I was in South Carolina a few years back. It's pretty nice over there.
Yeah, it is,
I
depending
went
on
for
which storms you go between.
Yeah, we absolutely went between all kinds of storms, and it was actually really fun. I went for a wedding for my SO's family, and when I was out there, they invited me to go play some golf, and I'm like, I'm not really good at golf. I just swing and run. And they're like, yeah, okay, well, come on. And at that time, I hadn't played a lot of golf, but one time I just said, you know what, the hell with it, just grip it and rip it, and I just wham, and we went home, and the uncle of whoever was up all night looking at the golf thing, because I thought they'd done really good, and I was just doing crappy. And so he wakes me up the next morning at like 4:30, and he's just like, you've never played before? I'm like, well, I mean, I've played. And he's like, you hit it 300 yards like 5 times. I'm like, I'll never do that again in my life, bro. And I was right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But in their defense, those courses, because it was midsummer and the courses were really dry, so I got some really good bounces.
Oh, good. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that helps.
You play golf, Mike?
I have attempted it a few times. I'm not any good whatsoever. Yeah, we actually had plans today to go to a driving range. I can't remember the name of the place, but it's in Raleigh. We're supposed to go and meet up with some friends from my wife's work, and it's like it's a pretty neat little deal where you know I guess you go in there and there's like food and drinks, and it's kind of like it's almost like the horse track.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah, so. But it was below freezing, and everybody canceled on us, so we gotta try again later.
Come on, man.
It was freezing in North Carolina.
Imagine that.
It was, yeah. Yep, it got down, I think it was 29 degrees.
Yeah, see, I like being here. You know, it's a nice day out there.
Give it time. It'll change.
Oh, yeah, like yesterday.
Climate change is real, folks.
Yesterday, I took off my heavy shirt and my coat and everything just so I could wear a T-shirt because I was sweating my tail off, you know. And then just as I'm on my way home, it's clouding up and everything, you know. And then the wind starts kicking up.
Oh, man,
you
know?
I know. I put on my shirt again, and the next thing you know, I'm putting on a sweatshirt, you know, because it's cold.
I mowed the yard for the first time in, 7 months yesterday?
Yeah.
My grass farm's starting to come back to life.
Yeah, and then as soon as I got done, it's just like, it's about to rain. Whew, glad I got that done. Now I can brag about it.
Last Monday was 87 degrees. Last Monday it was 87 degrees.
And then
today the high is like 50. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I thought about actually mowing my lawn yesterday, but I was too busy. And then I was going to get up and do it today, and then it was like, hell no. I got too much to do. So I went ahead, you know, and I tried to set everything up for this. I got it set up to where we can broadcast to do 2 different places at once right now.
Yeah.
So, or actually 3, because we're on...
if you make this so I can broadcast from my studio, I'm going to become the introvert of the block.
Well, if I ever get this right to where we can actually have it, you know, to where all of us can be on the same page at the same time without, you know, like it's supposed to, then everything will be good and you can do that. But anyway, like right now and everything, we're actually broadcasting to Mixcloud.
Yeah.
And we're broadcasting to
like live broadcasting. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. To what is it?
To the 2 of you that are watching and listening, good morning.
Yeah.
What is it?
Hi, Mom.
I'm trying to remember the word of the other one, but anyway.
Bro, my mom says we rock.
We're on Facebook. We're on the one that you do your games on. What's the name of that?
Twitch.
I kept wanting to say Twitch.
Twat?
Yeah.
Twitch twat?
Yeah. Anyway.
It does.
Anyway, so
if
we're
you
on
do
there.
this just right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then next week.
And now we're demonetized.
Next week we'll be able to do YouTube at the same time.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Do you restream?
No.
No.
Well, on our regular podcast, yeah, it'll be a restream.
No. I mean, do you use restream? Because
No.
when I'm broadcasting my short stuff, I use restream because it gives me all of the platforms at once. I just have to push one button instead of 7.
Yeah. Well.
Not sponsored.
I never broadcast my short stuff.
Oh my goodness. Hey, put it out there, man. It looks short and limpy, but if you play with it,
it's still short and limpy. Yeah.
It gets rigid, but it's still short.
No, anyway.
Listen, honey, if you play with it, it's satisfying. Me.
But no, I went ahead and I got all that set up. So this is actually our very first live stream. So I will also allow everybody, if you're interested anyway. Yeah, let me get that started back up again here. Okay. You can also call in and join the conversation now.
Mother of all toasted donuts, what are you talking about?
Okay. So, if you actually want to join the conversation,
come on in.
You can call in.
And interjections show excitement and confusion.
Well, they can't call in if you don't shut up long enough for me to give them the phone number.
No, there is no phone number. You got to guess. Just dial your number neighbor, and if it's us, woo, you're on the air.
But it's 253-254-6664.
All right.
So 6664.
253-254-6664.
Yep.
Call. Do it. I dare you.
Anyway.
Triple dirty dog dare you.
Yeah, then you can talk to all of us and let us know
or
what
Mike. Talk to Mike.
Well, that's what I prefer. Anyway. Now, you wanted to talk about, what was it before we started?
Oh, there's so many things I like to talk about.
We were talking about the water.
Top of the list, though, is the privatization of water.
Oh.
Because you were saying something, because you work at a bottling facility.
Yes.
That bottles for 3 or 4.
For a whole bunch of water.
Of sellers.
Bottle, yeah.
Of sellers.
Major stores and stuff like that.
And you... When you first were working there, you would call me up and be like, "Hey, come get some water. It's on the street. They're doing it."
Yeah, well, back then.
And then you stopped doing that, and I'm just like, man, did they stop just giving away water?
Well, what it was we used to put it down at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Cul-de-sac, yeah.
And people would come on down and they'd load it on up. Well, we ended up getting to where we had a line go down, so we couldn't produce as much. And then we started having people, we would take, we didn't have as much, so we'd take like a pallet and put it out there for the truck drivers. And we would have people come driving by, see that there was none at the end of the cul-de-sac. They would pull in, block the exit, pull up in front of all these trucks, and then they would try and shove as much as they could into their cars.
All right.
And so the truckers wouldn't actually get the water that we were trying to give to them. And then, so we quit putting it out there. And we started putting a pallet over by the very far back, where you went to go get it there at 46.
I got that actual full pallet.
Yeah. And but then people didn't see the water up front. They didn't see it over, at the end of the cul-de-sac. And they started coming up and going up to the guard shack there and going, well, why aren't you guys putting any water out? Well, we don't have enough right now. Well, what are we supposed to do? You got to put water out there. And they were actually starting to get rude. There was this one lady and everything, man. Mm-hmm. I thought seriously about just getting in my goat and running her over.
But you said something earlier before you did this elaborate story. You said something that cued it right in. You said they were asking for it like it was like a
right.
Oh, like it was a right.
Yeah,
like the right to life.
No, it was okay. We actually put out the water to sell, correct?
Yeah,
Wait, now let me finish.
I understand.
Let me finish your point.
It's a corporation and they need to make money. I understand.
Right. So we make the water to sell, okay, and it goes out to all these different stores, right? But being the kind of place we are, we also you put a lot out for donations, to the food banks and different stores, you know, and stuff like this. The second chance companies, this kind of thing. Fire department gets free water. This kind of stuff. And not to put out the fires, but drink.
Well, it's free water. It's free water that they use to put out the fires. It ain't like they're putting an ATM card in that fire extinguisher or hydrant.
Yeah, heaven forbid. Huh?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it'll get there. Don't worry, folks.
So what they ended up doing,
you're like, my house is on fire. I've got the ATM card. Come, please.
Yeah. But because we had a line go down and it broke and everything, we ended up having a shortage. And so when
a production shortage.
Yeah, and
not a water shortage, a production shortage.
Right. But these people started, they wouldn't listen to that, and they started demanding and saying, well, what are we supposed to do? So our comeback was go to the store and buy it, because that's where it's at. We don't have enough to give away right now, so you have to go buy
As they've got 15 trucks full of bottled water in their parking lot. We don't have enough.
Well, that's because that stuff is already sold and going. But, however, the employees, moi, for one, still get our free water.
Yeah.
Like I just brought home
because as a human being that is basically 76% water, maybe even more because I'm a little fatter than the average. I would think that not only oxygen but water and at least a vegetarian diet would be a right to my life.
Well, you're
an unalienable right.
Help me out here, Mike.
Yeah, so when if you're buying bottled water, okay, so let's just say water in general, right?
Right.
Yeah, we have a water bill, okay, but what you're paying for isn't necessarily the water. What you're paying for is making sure that
the
you
service.
Get clean,
I understand
water,
100% that you're paying for the service to turn on your tap and drink water from the city that isn't going to kill you. I understand.
That's right. And if you go to White River and you go drink some water straight out of the river, nobody's going to come chasing you down with a bill. Nobody. But there's no guarantee that you won't get Giardia.
But there is if you filter and or take care of your water before you actually ingest it.
That's right. But
if
even
you
if
drop
you
an iodine tablet
filter,
in it, or if you boil it,
there are ways. But see, the thing about Nestle and Coca-Cola and PepsiCo and Swiss and all these water bottling companies, these conglomerates, these huge companies, they're buying water from the counties and the cities and the states that the people need, and they're buying it for pennies on the hundreds of gallons, pennies on the barrel, where people are paying almost twice that, which doesn't matter if you're getting municipal water, but they're taking that municipal water and then they're selling it to you for like $2 a bottle for $2 for 12 ounces, and you're just like, how is this right? And Nestle, the CEO or whoever, the guy from Nestle continues to say that he wants to privatize water. What do you think is going to happen when they privatize water?
Well,
you don't have to buy it, right?
No. When they privatize water, you buy it continually like we do now, but it's going to be, the price is going to skyrocket because they hold all the rights to the water, and you as a human being have none.
So you don't have any rights to the water as it is if you're getting it from
the city,
Puget Sound Water Company or whoever, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing. Somebody else is processing it, cleaning it, and delivering it to you.
Yeah.
You can still go down the river and filter your own.
Yeah, what he's talking about, though, is kind of like if the sci-fi movies, where you have to buy the air you breathe,
Yeah, how long till that happens?
Yeah.
Technically, if you're a scuba diver, you're buying air to breathe.
Yeah.
Well, if you go on a spacewalk,
yeah,
anytime you go
off world or underwater.
Well, or
you're
like
gonna have to pay for that air.
Like he's planning on going to Mount Everest.
And listen, I'm not against.
You got to buy bottled water in Mount Everest, right?
Paying for the service. What I'm against is the actual privatization of water, where the most vulnerable in society won't be able to have access to it.
Well, that would create... See, it wouldn't matter if Pepsi decided to do that and if the government allowed it, okay? Because as soon as they decided to start doing that, and anybody that actually wants to add your 2 cents into this, all right, the number is 253-254-6664, and back me up here.
Yeah, tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, I am.
That water should be privatized.
Because if anybody tried to actually privatize the water to where people couldn't get water without buying it, okay, without paying money, okay, more than like what they are right now, to where you're paying for the service of them purifying it and this kind of stuff, to where you can drink it,
and or putting it from a tap into a bottle and giving it to you.
Well, there again, they're purifying it, but. All right. Yeah, it's not like the one over in South Park that got closed down years ago, where they were just pouring it out of the tap into the bottle and selling it. But no, but the people of this country anyway would not allow it. There would be a revolution like you would not believe if people could not get water.
Wow, you have more faith in the people of this country than I do.
I have faith in people enough to say that they will put up with a lot of bullshit that they shouldn't. But if it came to life and death, they're going to stand up and they're going to fight.
Yeah. God, I wish.
Well, what do you think, Mike?
I hope.
I think that the government holds control over people because it is able to satisfy their needs, right? Their
needs,
their ability to survive, right?
Yeah.
And then so they can, and let's say they do privatize the water. And then they charge everybody for the water, and then there's a certain small percentage of people who can't afford to drink water. The government is just going to pay a subsidy for those folks to make sure that they can get, just like they do with healthcare, same thing they do with cell phones, right? And all that stuff. People, it's a basic need now to have a cell phone. It's definitely a basic need to have water. And there's no way the government would let even the smallest part of the population go without water, because they know that, like it was said, that there'd be a huge mutiny on their hands.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're correct. I hope both of you are right.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
Because I'm the pessimist of the group.
Yeah.
Well, you're the anti-government.
Oh, bro, I'm
anti-corporation, anti-government.
I'm anti this government because if there's a new way, if there's a new world order and it works, I'm all for it. But there's no way because you and I have two different, varying ideas of what utopia is. I mean, we might have some cross-mingling ideas of it, but then we'll have some that are complete polar opposites of what your utopia is and what my utopia is, and what like Jeffrey Dahmer's utopia is. There's no single utopia that will satisfy 8 billion people.
True.
But if there's a one world government that works, I'll give it a try.
Okay, well, let's talk to President Xi. And because I hate to
don't kid yourself. That'll probably be what it is. Better learn Mandarin.
Yeah, exactly. I hope you're practicing your Mandarin. You only got about 30 years.
Otherwise, tell your kids just enjoy your serfdom. It's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, I still say that we need a hashtag. Bootin' Putin. Get rid of that one.
Hashtag Bootin' Putin. Hashtag Bootin' Biden. Hashtag Bootin' Bootin'. Bootin'.
Nah. When it comes to Biden, that should just be Barry Biden.
He's already dead.
Only from the neck up.
Well.
So what do you say we just bury the rest of it? Maybe
because then we get holla, it's Kamala.
Yeah, well, in that case, just flush and call it quits.
Not only will she be the first woman president, but she'll be the first black woman president. Whoop, whoop! Gotta have them stepping stones. It's like, we're in the 21st century. Should we even have war? Should we have these micro-governments?
We should not have war. There are other ways to accomplish the same thing. Hell, they could have video games and everything to settle that. You know.
Or under a one world government, we could unite and have war against stuff that's in space, because we're always going to want to kill shit.
Well,
yeah.
Sorry, pardon me.
No, I agree that we probably would be interested in killing stuff, but that's what hunting season is for, and fishing.
Yeah. We all, hey, it's different. It's new to me. Let's kill it before we discover it. But it looks like it may be able to communicate with us. Too bad I just kill it.
Yeah, that's what a spider's doing when it's going like this, just before you smash it. Yeah.
You never know, man.
You know, the weird part is that when I was young, I played with spiders over and over. You know, I mean, I let them crawl all over me.
I still eat them.
You know, and don't like the things anymore. They're in the house, they're gone. You know, I get rid of them. That's one reason why I've got all that garlic over there. You know, it keeps all the bugs out of here.
Does it?
Yep. No spiders. I haven't seen any flies. Even fruit flies are gone. Everything, you know.
I guess I'll give that a try.
Of course, you know, eventually we're going to have to get rid of the garlic because it's
going to grow.
Well, it's all pretty much dried out now, you know. So you got to stir it up every once in a while. Anyway, but yeah, so that's here. But yeah, as far as the water goes and stuff like that, no, there's no way they're going to privatize all the water.
You know, you say there's no way. They'll find one.
No, because that, like I said, that'd be like privatizing air, and it ain't going to happen.
You say it ain't going to happen, but you visualize a future where the planet Earth is like Venus. Then they would have to sell you air. But hopefully we're smarter than that and we don't let it get that far.
Okay, now who's the optimist?
Don't make me spit coffee on you, sir. I could have spit that so hard I would have got Mike.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, but I mean, we really once we realize that we are custodians to the planet and not acting like we have ownership of it, we will make an evolutionary step that many of us can't see that needs to be made. But as a species that definitely likes to start with violence before we try generosity and or friendly gestures, once we become globalized, we will definitely be looking for violence in space. That's just how we are, though.
Yeah.
What do you think about what's on the computer chip in that Tesla that Elon Musk threw into space, you think? Think there's instructions for people who find it how to drive it? This is a car from Earth. This is how you drive it.
I didn't hear that he sent anything out into space. I mean, that didn't come back.
Oh, did the car come back?
No, I mean, the last thing I heard was he sent a rocket out and it landed, and they're getting ready to send it out again. That was the last thing I heard. I didn't know anything about a car.
I thought he launched a Tesla a couple years ago. Didn't Elon send a Tesla out into space a few years ago?
I'm not sure.
I do not remember, to be honest with you.
Oh man,
Let me do a Google.
I thought, yeah. Yeah, because I thought he shot a car out into space, and I was just asking Mike, what do you think are on the instructions on how to drive it?
Well, I think the only way that you'd be able to actually drive a Tesla out in space would be if you had plenty of chili and you could run an exhaust pipe from your exhaust pipe straight out the back.
You think that would have any kind of force to drive? I guess it would because actual.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, even a sneeze would cause you
move you.
Yeah. Yeah, because if there's no gravity and there, and
the emptiness of space is amazing.
Yeah, if there's no gravity, no friction, then the inertia alone from a sneeze or a fart or whatever would carry you. So.
He's got some pretty powerful gas.
Yeah, you should have been here yesterday.
Elon Musk sent a Tesla Roadster along with the dummy as a payload for his Falcon Heavy test flight.
Oh, so it went up and came back?
No, it's on its second orbit around the sun. It was going to be, I think it's just going to keep circling the sun until it burns out.
So see, and that's another thing about humanity and not knowing its custodialship to the planet. We pollute so much that we've thrown trash into the farthest reaches of space.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't trash when it left.
Said the trailer to the girl who walked out of it.
Well, no, Voyager was top-notch stuff, man, when it first left.
Yeah, Voyager 1 and 2, pinnacles at the time.
Yeah, so that they weren't garbage. They probably are now.
What's really awesome? No, they're not garbage because they're still sending stuff back, and they're still, as far as we know, unless you're a flat earther, then you're like, those things are in a room somewhere just pretending to be my stuff. Flat earthers make me. I love.
I didn't think that was a real thing.
There is
joke somebody was making.
There is a group,
bro. Flat earthers are amazing, man. Woo! Amazing. I mean, I'm stupid, but flat earthers make me look like Einstein. It's
mainly the hair,
It's definitely the hair. Yeah. That's more of an Ignatowski than an Einstein, though.
Anybody that could actually just believe that, knowing what we actually know, seeing how things actually are, how you could even come off with
you look through a telescope and you see all these round objects and you go, those are fake, and we're on a disc. What I really like is there's this predominant flat Earth society, and they spent I think it was like $60,000 on this laser gyroscope.
Yeah, you were talking about that a couple of weeks ago
to prove that the Earth isn't spinning. And when they turned it on, it was like, it must be broken, and that was the last time they spoke.
Calibration is off. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me how anybody can.
And they could have at least been like, it just proves that the disc itself is spinning, But they didn't even do that. They're just like, we're done.
Well, like you just got done saying, a minute ago, the dumbest people on the planet.
Oh yeah, whew. I'm one of them. Woo.
Now there's definitely limits to stupidity.
No, there are not.
I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
There's definitely limits to stupidity, but there should be limits to because once you get so dumb you die.
Bro, stupidity is limitless.
Well, I can agree with you to a point, but when but some people would be, if you get dumb enough, you forget to breathe. You die. You get dumb enough, you put a gun in your mouth, pull the trigger, you die. So there is a limit to how stupid you can get.
You gotta remember to load the gun.
Well, there you go.
And you gotta put the right size ammo in it.
Not really.
Remember, a 38 will not fire in a 32.
No, but a 410 will fire in a 44. A 410 will fire in a 44.
Yeah, well, and you can just step out in front of a train, but whatever.
Well, there you go. And that happened not too long ago.
I was on a train that hit a person when I was heading to work in Seattle one time.
It happened.
Good times. Another train hit someone on the way home right in front of my train. Same day, a couple people got killed by trains.
Well, last week.
Now, do you cheer that, or did you go, oh?
Last week, my wife was on the way home, and I was wondering why she wasn't home yet. It was it was taking too long, and I had dinner going and everything, and come to find out that's what happened is she got into Kent, and the train hit some lady there, and she was just out of it enough to where she actually lived. They took her to the hospital, but she actually got hit by a freaking train, and I thought, well, maybe she was hitting a car, but she wasn't.
No, like
how do you get hit
I went
by
to get
a
on the train one time because I was riding the train a lot to work in Seattle for a while, and one morning I got there and the train was delayed because there was someone on the trestle right next to the station that we were on threatening to commit suicide by jumping off the trestle, and it's not high enough to kill you. So it's just. And then, like I said, the same day, a couple of people got hit by trains. One on the way to work, one on the way home. It's just like
Yeah, but yeah, when it comes to people that are, there is a limit to how stupid you can be and still survive.
There is
I
no.
said and still survive.
Bro, jellyfish have no brains, none.
That doesn't make them stupid
at all.
Because we got people on this planet and everything that have full-size brains that couldn't calculate water,
Yeah, but they're not smart. They just exist.
Yeah.
See, now we for some reason we keep breeding existers.
Don't look at me. I actually have thinkers.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I've bred.
See, well, I didn't breed.
And there's a reason.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. No, I can't breed. There's just no reason for me to stop doing drugs and drinking just so I can make some kid think, hey, life is crap.
Well,
I need a beer. Hang on.
Knock yourself out, and I mean that figuratively.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about being stupid, and I didn't want you to overstep.
Oh. If I knocked myself out, that'd be the smartest thing I did. You done drank my beer.
I did not. What did she do? Take him out of the fridge?
Yeah.
Not my fault.
Hey, that's all right. I'll drink warm beer. I've been to Germany, man. I drank warm beer before. I'll drink warm beer again.
Yeah, there were 2 beers in there the last time I opened that fridge and looked.
There's none in there now. So.
Yeah, so she probably took them out.
Somebody likes cold beer.
Yeah, weird people, anyway, next subject.
Military. You're in the military. What you think about them their war with the Putins?
Jeez, I don't even know what to say about that.
Here's what I'll say. I truly hope that we never send any of our military service members to actually fight, because that will guarantee that this is a world war.
Yeah, that's probably a good statement for sure. I think it's impressive how well the Ukrainians are able to resist the Russians.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, but isn't Ukrainian the Ukraine what is that country in the country of Ukraine the most populous as far as when it used to be part of the USSR? It was one of the most populous countries that broke away from it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So
they do have a pretty
hopefully they would be able to sustain a buffer between Putin's assault and their freedom.
Well, yeah.
The budget and the technology, the amount of equipment, the resources that are available to Russia.
Russia does have a large bank to draw from for their
and that's
fighting pleasure.
And that's one of the things that they're using in order to keep everybody else at bay and out of it, is that they do have such an arsenal, and a lot of it is long-range nukes.
Yeah, and which is why the sanctions don't mean anything.
Well, they do, but not enough.
Well, no. Here's what the sanctions do. They hurt the people.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately, the people in like Moscow and the general Russian population, I don't know if there's enough of them to actually stand up and make a rebellion to stop the war from of Putin's. I don't know. And I say this only because he's not afraid to use force against his people.
Right. Yeah, it's the state-owned media.
In the streets.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I still think that we should just say hell with it, go for broke. Let's end the whole damn thing. And while Putin's over there trying to get Ukraine, well, everybody else should just go in and take over Russia.
Well, isn't that what China should do?
China should have already had a talk with Putin about this crap and said, "Bad boy, stop it."
Or he said, "Yeah, do it," because he's waiting. It's not a good situation.
No matter what.
No, it's tough.
So, tough. Do we think the UN should step in? Do more?
Well, they're not. So what? Ukraine isn't a part of NATO. Ukraine isn't a part of the United Nations.
I meant NATO, not the UN. I meant NATO. Sorry.
So they're not a part of it, but you think that if NATO allows Ukraine to join, well, they have contested borders and they're being invaded, then that automatically means that every NATO member, including the United States, is obligated to jump in and join the war, which is World War III.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it's kind of the point where.
Okay, here's a question.
Are we ready for that?
If the EU sends help and says NATO is their form of help, and the U.S. sends help in the form of supplies but not troops, are we still encompassed in a World War III scenario?
No.
Well, in World War II, we started off just supplying the Brits, right? And then we were cutting off the oil supplies to Japan, which made Japan attack the United States Pearl Harbor, right? Hoping to egg us into a negotiation, which didn't really work out at all in the way they thought it would.
Yeah, but we set ourselves up for failure on that one.
Yeah. And so you think if let's say the rest of the world all gets involved, there's no way with the United States being as big and as
influential
as we are, right? Yeah, we have the world's, maybe not the world's largest military, but we have probably the world's largest. How do I say it?
We have the world's largest budget.
Yeah, for
we
military.
Have some of the top.
We have
sophisticated equipment. We have like 500,000 active service members, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have one of the largest militaries. We have the largest military budget, and we have one of the largest arsenals on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But
right.
Either way, we start at World War III. The arsenals, if and it's a great big if, anybody had an iota of common sense, and I mean just an iota, just a itty bitty bit, okay? If they actually had just a little bit, then it wouldn't matter the size of the arsenal, because...
Wait a minute.
Yeah, because...
Are you making this a sexual joke? It's
no.
Not the size, it's the motion.
Well, pretty much. It's which part of the arsenal they use as to, how this is going to end up.
Yeah, it's a very small step from a Moab to a nuke.
Yeah, but the Moab, not a big problem in the long run.
Right.
Okay, where with the nuke, big problem all the way around. Okay, and if they actually started trying to use those, then in the words of Edgar, uh,
Allan Poe?
no.
Morris?
Do you remember back in the 80s?
No.
Yeah, I can believe that. Back in the 80s, there was a movie called War Games.
Okay.
With Matthew Broderick.
Okay.
Okay. And it was a very good movie. It was when computers first
came out. For the time, it was decent, but you couldn't do that phone booth trick.
Yeah. Well, but
I don't remember the movie.
Yeah. Well, he was Matthew Broderick.
Broderick, yeah.
Yeah, he was a hacker, and he was trying to get in to play this game he heard about.
He was trying to get in to play the game, and he ended up changing the grades on his test.
Actually, no. He ended up he went into the defense systems computer and was playing. The computer wanted to play chess because it thought he was somebody else. He thought he was his creator.
Yep.
And everything because he got the back door.
Spoiler alert in case you haven't seen War Games.
Yeah, well, if you haven't, you need to. But anyhow, so
you've had like 50 years.
They have to go through this big gauntlet before the computer, because he wants to play thermonuclear war. Okay, and but then it actually started arming all of the world's nukes. Okay, and it started
simulated.
No, these were actually connected to the nukes, and so they were getting ready to go. But it was a simulation
the first two times.
But so
the third time they thought it was gonna go.
Yeah, by the time and they had to beat the countdown for it. Now, by the time they got done and they actually stopped it, then the computer said, "This is a strange game," and because
there's no winners.
That was it. He says the only winning move is not to play. It's like tic-tac-toe.
Right.
Okay. There's no winner. I mean, if you got two people that know how to play tic-tac-toe, nobody will ever win. It's always going to be a cat's game. Same thing with thermonuclear war. It's always going to be a cat's game. There's never going to be a winner.
Well, the elitist in me thinks, well, maybe we need one.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I can honestly say that over the last 20 years at least, I have been seriously thinking that, and that should scare everybody right there.
It did. But did you hear the fear in my voice?
Well, no, but I saw it in your eyes. But the worst.
Damn it! I was going for lust.
No, I'm sitting down. I'm safe. But the most damaging thing that ever happened to this planet was man.
Yeah. Oh,
okay. Yeah. The best thing that could ever happen for this planet is no man.
And it's crazy.
And I'm not being sexist. I also include women in that whole no man thing. Okay.
Yeah, because they're part of humanity. It's not humanity. It's humanity.
That's correct. So.
There's no such thing as women. They're just a rib.
Yeah, well. They're ready to rib us.
Rib us of all of our money and stuff. Oh, wait. Do you say rib?
So what do you think, Mike?
We went in a lot of different ways. What do I think about what?
Because we got ADHAS. That's attention deficit. Yeah. Hey, a squirrel.
Are we talking about? Are we talking about nukes still, or are we talking about Ukraine? Are we talking about women and men? What are we talking about?
Yeah, all of the above.
The answer is yes.
Yes. Oh, I totally agree with both of you on all things.
Uh-oh. That means we said some wrong stuff. Listeners, if you're there, 253-254-6664, call now and set us straight.
Please. You can also text.
Yeah, text us. Because I never learned to read. Dissects looks untie. What? That's supposed to say dyslexics unite.
But yeah. Anyway.
How about climate change? Man-made or natural?
A combination of the two.
You think so?
Yeah.
The hubris of man to think he can affect the planet.
Well, if we would have kept the
The forests?
No, well, that too. But if we would have, the main thing is if we would have kept the population down, So in other words, we didn't have all the medications, we didn't have all the surgeries, we didn't have all that kind of stuff. So if we would have kept the human population down where it should have been.
What do you mean by surgeries?
Medicine, okay?
Because in Egypt, there's evidence that they were doing brain surgery
and boob jobs.
Yeah. However, any of the life-saving things that they have done, okay, and come up with, anything that prolonged our lives instead of just letting, like the plague and smallpox or whatever that wiped us out or kept us down.
So as opposed to 80% of the population living to 80 years of age, more like 5%.
There you go. If we would have kept the population down, then we would have had no effect on the planet on the scale that we do.
Oh,
okay.
But
because there are so many people, our flatulence alone adds to it. Okay, but then
now he's gaslighting us, Mike. He's gaslighting us.
Yeah.
But then we're also cutting in and bringing methane out of where it was protected underneath the soils. Okay, yeah, as a human race. Okay. We have taken instead of the herds of buffalo, we've taken and actually started raising cattle and all kinds of animals to where they exist in larger herds than what they used to. Okay, we have cleared a lot of the planet, so a lot of the oxygen recreation has been diminished, while the other gases have been expounded. Okay, and with all of this and in such a large quantity, plus taking the soil itself and opening it up and releasing the gases out of the soil, the nitrogen and everything else, instead of keeping it in the soil where it's supposed to be, okay, that being covered all over the majority of the planet, yes, that is going to create a difference. However, just the natural manner of things, the rotation of the earth, the distance of the distance of the what's the word I'm looking for, dang it, well, yeah, the rotation of the earth and going around the sun and everything in
the ellipticalness of the orbit.
Yeah, the orbit actually is what I was looking for. But anyhow, all of that is going to change it anyway, okay? Because, it's not going to be the same. You're not going to be exactly the same
See how he
distance from the sun.
qualified his BS with that. It's going to do it anyway.
Yeah, but we have accelerated it and probably brought it up to a more dramatic climax
than
what it would have been.
Right? When you look at science and they say the Earth is going through warming and cooling and warming and cooling and warming and cooling, and it's been a fireball and it's been an ice ball and it's been a tropical paradise and it's been an ice ball, to say that anything we do is devastatingly affecting the earth makes me laugh. I mean, I understand that we make it unlivable for life as we know it, but that's not hurting the planet. And if we're warming the planet and a big enough volcano goes off and cools the planet, that kind of puts all that we're warming the planet to the side, doesn't it?
Okay, well, see, we could also be going the other direction too. Okay, if we were to start setting off nukes, okay, it's not going to warm the planet. We're going to have a cloud going all over the place. It's going to cause a new ice age.
Whoa.
Okay,
Nukes.
so we can cause catastrophic change to this planet, and we do because of our numbers.
Yeah, to the life.
Yeah, but just cutting down half of the Amazon, okay, that's going to create a lot of change. The oil or whatever that's killing the algae, in the oceans and everything, okay, that can cause more gases going towards to melt the polar ice caps. The less the polar ice caps, of course, the less we're reflecting the light back out to space, and the warmer it's going to get. I mean, that's just logical.
But we're just all we're doing is making the planet uninhabitable. We're not really destroying the planet.
Well,
we're just
no,
making it uninhabitable.
No, unless we start setting off the nukes enough to where we split the planet in half or whatever, then we're not going to be destroying the planet. We're just going to be destroying the surface of the planet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, which is what I think most people are referring to.
What's that, sir?
And that's what most people are referring to is like, yeah, we're not going to like blow the whole world up into like little rocks, but we're going to make it unsustainable for the life that's on it right now.
Definitely.
I think that's yeah.
But that could happen naturally, and it is going to happen naturally, because eventually they say the sun's going to turn
dimmer,
into a red dwarf, and it's going to expand. Which I don't understand the logic in that, but it will warm up and it will expand a little bit, and the heat will encompass or
actually
will
cool
kill
down.
the Goldilocks zone that we live in, and so.
I believe that what you're talking about is the planet or the sun would actually cool down to a red dwarf instead of.
And then it would expand because of
gravitational
light
would not be compressing it as much.
Gravity is my
favorite
thing.
So.
We lost Mike.
Well, we didn't lose him. We just misplaced him for the moment.
Yeah. I'm still here.
But it's yes, eventually it's going to happen no matter what. It's going to cool down, but because of our numbers and because of how we've spread out like a virus, okay, then it's inevitable that we are going to continue to do that. But if we would have stayed small in numbers, we couldn't have made a difference no matter what.
But see, that goes back to the we think we own the earth, and so we devastated in our race to be lords of everything. If we realized that we were custodians to this planet, we could probably have 5 times the number we have now and exist happily.
Well, yeah,
but since we're stupid,
lazy,
stupid and lazy, the majority of the people on this planet exist simply because of what others do to make sure that we can all exist. Now, if we all work together to do that, we can,
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying a while back. But people are so lazy, and they care too much about themselves and not about anybody else.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that if you were to actually call them the custodians of the planet, like what you're trying to say they are,
but they aren't,
then they should be fired.
But we aren't.
Yeah, because
we aren't being trained to be custodians. We're being trained to be serfs, and we're great at that.
Well, speak for yourself.
We're great at
I've never been good at taking orders. I take suggestions.
You go to work. You go to work when you're told. Welcome to serfdom, sir.
I go to work when I agree.
Yeah. Welcome to serfdom, sir. The vernacular you use does not change the facts.
No, they actually.
In my mind, I am a free man.
No, I was actually asked what shift I wanted.
Yeah.
And I told them. Yeah. So I got the shift that I wanted.
So you're enjoying your serfdom.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Hey, they say if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm just like, yeah, bull. You're still going to work, sir.
Well, if you think about it, you already said that you're retired.
I love work. Yeah. No one's ever said that.
You said that you're semi-retired, right?
I am.
Yeah. Well, guess what? You're working now.
I am, but I'm not getting paid, so it's not really.
Doesn't
work,
matter.
Is it?
Well, yes, it is.
This is volunteerism.
Okay. Well, what about slavery? They wasn't getting paid for it, but they were working.
Well, I'll tell you, they got a place to live. They got food. They got
no. They yeah. Well, see, that's forced servitude. That's just like a police dog or a military animal. Forced servitude, bro.
My dog isn't forced to be into servitude. He actually.
That's because you don't tell him to go sniff out drugs or go find bombs, bro.
No, but I do tell him to go play with the girls and leave me alone.
Oh yeah.
Get your nose off the table, this kind of stuff. But if he's good, he gets to sleep in my room. If he's not good, he doesn't. He has to sleep with mama or
enjoy your serfdom, Puppo.
there are limits, like last night he did get to sleep in my room. But
I'm just telling you, man. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, and people won't understand what better is, in my mind, because I just watch them going, "Yeah, we need this, we need this, we need this." And it's like, do we need that?
No, we don't really need a lot of the stuff that they say we need.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can remember when Michael used to swear up and down and everything that he really needed a ColecoVision, and then
I had a ColecoVision.
but then he got even more spoiled and got a Super Nintendo.
Woo!
But see, he needed those, and
I still have a Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, those are instrumental in the development of young children.
Yeah, and detrimental to the development of adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Detrimental to the peace, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you get temporary peace with it, and then the rest of the world falls apart after it.
Yes, but nothing exists outside my bubble, so I'm good. Just give me that Nintendo.
Yeah.
I need some Mario Kart. I need another beer. All right.
Okay, don't let the dog down here. Yeah, anyway. I definitely do believe that we do make a difference because we have such numbers. But
yeah, no, I agree with that.
If we didn't have the numbers, we wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, I think if we lived, if we, what is it? If we lived off of what the earth provided instead of molding the earth to provide more, we'd probably be doing a lot better.
Well, yeah, think about it. I mean, for centuries, the Chinese did just that. Even though they were still one of the most populous countries in the world. Okay, and the Native Americans, same thing. The Aborigines in Australia, same thing. They lived with the land instead of populating against it, right? Instead of trying to make it do what they wanted, they just went with it, and it went very well. Okay, it was the Europeans that started trying to force feed the country into what they wanted. They started building their castles, and they started making towns, and then the towns got bigger, and then the rats got stronger, and then they started getting bubonic plague, and then it just then everybody else saw, oh well, hey, they got sewers, so let's try that, and so everybody started trying to make their own little sections, start doing their bidding instead, and that's when everything started going downhill. So yeah, I agree. If we all just lived off the land and let the land provide, and then again, that takes care of the population problem.
Yes, because it will even out. It's like when people tell me that they're afraid of robots taking all the jobs because, well, what will we do? Well, we'll live until we die, and we'll start enjoying life, and so we'll start having less children, and so the population will find a livable level.
Yeah, because unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, the poorer you are, the more opportunity you have to reproduce. Mainly because what else are you going to do for fun?
Well, that, and there's incentive.
Well, you can't afford to go to the movies. You can't afford to go out to dinner.
As long as you're not homeless. As long as you're not homeless, there's government incentive for you to get married and have a family of 8.
No, not a government incentive.
Yes, a tax incentive is a government.
Well, a tax incentive. That's maybe
a government incentive.
Yeah, but it never pays off. I mean, it's not like you're going to break even.
I didn't say it paid off. I just said it's an incentive.
Yeah, you don't break even on that one.
I didn't say it was a benefit. I said it was an incentive. That's why Molly and Bobby fucking trailer trash have 15 kids, and the Kardashians have 3. You know.
No, the reason that the Molly trailer trash has 10 kids is because they do actually make money from that because of welfare and all that.
Well, no,
other stuff.
9 times out of 10 they're jobless, so all they have time to do is the 5 Fs.
Yeah, well, there again, that it doesn't matter if you're jobless or not. If you can't afford to go out to dinner, if you cannot afford to go to the movies, if you cannot afford to rent a movie, if you can't afford to get in the car and drive off, and just have fun somewhere, go get on a boat or whatever, okay, then you're stuck at home and the only thing you got is who you're with, and yeah, you're going to be having sex, okay? I mean, that's poor people's fun time, I mean, trust me, I know.
That's everybody's fun time.
Well, yeah,
but see, you
can't afford to go out and do anything else.
These people that can't afford to do all these things, these people that live in the trailers, and yes, that's a blanket statement, and I'm not venerating that in any way. But you say that if they can't afford it, but they don't understand that they can't afford it. All they understand is, hey, let's just have some kids. Oh, look, it's a tax write-off. They're not having kids as a tax write-off. They're just like, hey, all we can do is just F, and so, well, now we have all these kids because we don't use protection or care, and so the person in the 2-bedroom trailer with 15 kids has it because that's all they want to do.
Well,
where the
to
elitist
to squash his trailer trash talk, if that was the case, Steve would be getting laid and would have been laid in the last 10 years. So
that's no. You got to have game. Doesn't matter where you are. You got to have game.
Yeah.
You can't just be a slob that looks like you need to live in your mom's basement, even though you have your own trailer with, it's paid off, but all I do is pay the land tax. Yeah, if you don't have game, you're not getting laid. I don't care what level of society you're in.
Yeah, there is that. I'll give you that.
So yeah, let me quash that one. Well, yeah, so so all these people that have kids, and I'm conflicted because I don't mind saying, but I also don't like saying that they will die off, and they need to. Believe me, that what the elitists consider the lower class needs to die off, because that'll leave the middle class, and the middle class will understand that the elitists are trying to be rulers, and then they will step up and hopefully make a change. But that's not going to happen in the next century, so I'm not worried about it at all. But I'm doing my part. I didn't have no goddamn kids.
Yeah,
and believe me, I could have, because during that,
well, hey, if I could get laid, so could you.
I didn't say I couldn't get laid. I just choose who I get laid with.
Well, I always chose who I got laid with too, and
hey man,
as long as I was
sometimes
sober,
I didn't get to make that choice.
Yeah, well, as long as I was sober,
that's a different episode for a different day, right, Michael?
That's right. Yep.
As long as I was sober, I was able to make my decisions.
Hey man, more power to you. That's good.
When I wasn't sober,
it's a different episode.
Yeah.
Right now we're talking.
All right, guys. Well, hey, I'm sorry. I gotta sign off here. It's time for me to start getting dinner ready. Yeah, it's 4:30 here.
No.
Yep. Sorry.
That's all right. We appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
Thanks for
definitely. Thanks
for
having
stupidity.
Me. And there's a lot to deal with.
I have enough for all.
Well, you guys have fun. Definitely. Okay.
Have a good one, sir.
All right. Bye.
That was Mike Ennis.
Yeah, keep everybody.
253-254-6664. Text us. Let us know what you think. Tell me I'm an idiot. I'm fine with that. I'm a drunk belligerent idiot.
I think that actually people will stand up when they need to. It's just like in Ukraine.
Well, yeah. When it's right here.
Yeah.
When it's right here. they'll either stand up or they'll acquiesce. And when it's way, way over there, like it's been for the United States for the past 2 centuries, when it's way, way over there, we'll get on Facebook and we'll change our profile picture flag. Oh, we're so sad about what's happening.
Yeah.
So sad.
But
that it doesn't matter what color you are in the United States. We are very, very privileged that it's always happening over there.
Yeah, I agree.
Now there is violence here in the United States.
Yeah.
And it's in my opinion it's egged on and perpetuated by the media.
Oh, big time.
And the ignorance of the average. But it's nothing like what's happening over there. Because
I don't know if it's the ignorance or the complacency.
It's both. In my opinion, it's both. It's both because we're so complacent, and we're taught to be complacent. The education, the public education system in this country teaches us our complacency.
Well, there is that.
I mean, there's a few that buck the system, but for the most part, we get trained and we do our obligated work throughout.
Yeah.
But there's those that buck the system. Maybe 5% of the entire population, and of those 5%, 75% are homeless, and the other 25 are the ones that, like you and I, are just here trying to tell people things could be better if we just worked for it, but we don't want to work for it because we're lazy.
Well, you were talking earlier about utopia.
It's hard. Utopia is difficult, man.
Yeah, but I
Because
can
yours
honestly
is
say that
different from mine.
as far as I am concerned, my life right now is pretty close to a utopia.
Bro, our lives are Edens compared to 98% of the rest of the planet.
Well, compared to what my life was 25 years ago.
Yeah, but even 25 years ago, your life in the United States was an Eden compared to, say, 50%.
Now,
of
40
the
years
population
ago,
of the planet.
40 years ago, my life was an absolute Eden. Okay, because I worked if and when I wanted to. I could go where I wanted, when I wanted. I didn't have to deal with anybody I didn't want to. I was living in the mountains, when I was hitchhiking around, I could walk for days, until I stuck out my thumb and get a ride. Or when I was living
and back then you could stick out your thumb and get a ride.
Yeah.
Because only about 0.003% of those people were serial killers.
And then and since I wasn't a cornflake or a Fruit Loop, then they didn't kill me because
I was a Fruit Flake, or a Corn Loop. I'm not sure, one of those.
But when I was living in the mountains, I could walk around for 2 weeks, never see anybody.
Yeah.
Once a month, usually, I'd go down and I'd peel logs for a day.
Make some cash so you could actually buy.
So
some
I could buy
sundries.
tobacco and this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And I had a wine pit.
And that's the way the world should work. And when the world's working like that, the population stays at a balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we have this strange system where there's this class, this micro population that has somehow gained control of the macro population and makes the macro population do their bidding. And it's weird.
Yeah. It's strange to me how many of us have actually allowed it to go that far.
I've solved almost 3 problems today.
Yeah,
and you are exactly right when you say how many of us, because it is mass complacency, and I understand it's taught, it's learned, it's normalized.
Yeah.
And so the majority of the people that are even listening to this right now don't even understand what we're talking about when we say the mass complacency. is what's driving the downfall of humanity.
Yeah, well, here's a good example of it. Okay, when I was younger, okay, and like when I was hitchhiking around and traveling a lot and this kind of stuff, there was actually a law. In fact, they actually made movies dealing with this, like Rambo, First Blood. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Why was
Vagrancy.
That's the one.
Vagrancy.
Now, if they were to reinstate,
not that I knew where he was going with this, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen Rambo.
But if they were to actually reinstate that law, like they should, and it's still on the books, it's just they don't enforce it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's
but
like
if
you're not allowed to walk your elephant after 8 p.m. in Arizona. How many people own elephants?
Well, I was married to one, but anyway.
That's not ownership, sir. That's not ownership.
You tell her that.
Yeah.
I was used to the Ringling Brother life, so when we got divorced, he better treat me to it.
But anyhow, but if we still had the vagrancy laws enforced, okay, we wouldn't have the homeless problem that we do right now.
I kind of agree with that.
Okay.
I kind of agree with that.
So, because right now, instead of running them out of town, instead of jailing them, and forcing them to either leave or get a job, and get a home, we're supporting them where they're at.
Right.
Okay. And not only is it the police and the government that's supporting them, but these idiots that pass them out money standing on the off ramps.
Hey, not to sidetrack you, but you said the word police. Have you noticed that, what was it, a couple years ago with that thing, and they're like defund the police and stuff? And now crime has escalated to the point where they're just like, oh, we need more police. We need more police. Do you see what's happening?
Well, that's what I've been saying all along.
Do you see what we're about to get into?
Yeah.
Do you see what we're about to get? People, are you aware of what we're about to get into? Because I don't think you care. I don't think you care.
I think they care. I just don't think they actually see it.
I don't think they care. Because if they cared, they would see it.
Well, you have to open your eyes, But yeah,
woke, bro. No, it's nothing about woke.
But if but if they started doing that,
reinforce those vagrancy laws.
Yeah, and
I agree with you a little bit.
Yeah, but then they could also amend those vagrancy laws a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be kinder.
Well, no. But give them a choice.
Well, no.
From where we're at now.
You say give them a choice, and I say be a little kinder.
Okay, well, from where we're at right now, okay, it would be just ridiculous to try and arrest all of them, throw them in jail, and then buy them bus tickets to Arizona.
Right,
okay?
Which is what they used to do.
Okay, so what they should do right now is go ahead and start grabbing them, okay, but give them a choice, all right? We're already spending hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars on this shit every year, okay? So go ahead and take that money, okay, and say, okay, do you guys want a bus ticket out of here, or do you want to go through rehab? Do you? We have a job placement program.
Oh, he lured me in. No, I don't believe any of that. That's garbage.
Well,
keep going though.
Okay, but the ones that are living on the street right now, if they're doing the drugs, and that's why they're out there because they can't hold a job. They have a choice to go ahead.
That is such a small percent of those people.
Okay, yeah, but that gives them a choice. Okay, also, we got a job placement program. Okay, what experience do you have, or do you have any experience? We can get you entry level. Okay, we can help you find what job.
But as those jobs disappear, because see, here's where this goes. Because I have friends that have been run out of work. And they used to make, $40, $50 an hour at their job.
Right.
And they're run out of work. And now they're 45, 50, 55 years old, and they're working at Jack in the Box making 1/3 of what they used to make. And people are bitching at them because they want to make, a living wage.
Mm-hmm.
And people are bitching at them, well, that's a starter job. Well, you know what? My job was eliminated. Now this is all I have. Right. And I can't support what I was supporting now because what I used to have could support where I was. So am I supposed to let my family just die off and me work at Jack in the Box? Where is the equilibrium there?
Okay, you can downgrade. Okay, you may have had a job paying $150,000 a year last year. Now you don't have that job.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
but you still have that life.
But is that life really all that important?
Well, let's see.
No, it's not.
If you have the home and you have the children, and your wife was already working, and your oldest child was working, so that you could support this home, because that's the world we're in right now. Is not only do the mother and father have to go to work, but a lot of times now the child has to, the oldest child has to go to work to support what we used to be able to manage
Right.
with a single
Right.
employee in a multi-person family home.
Right. And there was a time where I was making good money. My wife didn't have to work, okay, and we were living pretty good, okay. Then that job was dissolved,
Right.
okay. I needed to step back, so I lost the job. I ended up on unemployment, and so we downgraded our living situation, okay, and then we started over. Okay, and then in order to get to about the same level again, my wife had to go to work.
But see, you were in a position where you were able to downgrade. Sometimes people aren't in that position.
What do you think they do when they go out and they're living in a tent? That's downgrading your living.
Well,
now it's time to start over.
That's the last resort of downgrading. That's the last.
I've done it. And
so have I, but I don't have kids.
Last resort.
I don't have responsibilities. I can go do whatever the F I want right now. I don't have responsibilities. I have friends that lost their jobs, that were making tons of money, that had a family they were supporting on the money they were making, and then they had to go get a job somewhere else, and a lot of times they couldn't because they're at an age where they need to have bachelor's degrees and master's degrees in stuff they've done for 25 years and didn't go to school for.
Yeah.
So the best thing they can do is go get a job at a fast food place so they can at least have an income, but it doesn't sustain what they used to be able to sustain.
So you
and
downgrade
people
from
get mad
what you
at
used
them for asking for a living wage, which still wouldn't sustain what they used to have.
Yeah, but see, that's just it. What you used to have, you got to get rid of it. It's
okay, let me lose my job and just kill my children because I can no longer support them.
No,
I got to downgrade, so I'm going to kill my children.
I've still got my kids.
Strangle my wife.
I still got my wife and my kids.
Because I can no longer sustain that lifestyle.
No, I can't have that house anymore.
But it was a different time.
I can't have that car anymore.
It was a different time.
It was only a few years back.
A few years. What, 10?
No. Actually, no. About 6. But either way, okay, we had to give up the cars. Okay, we couldn't have the brand new cars anymore. Okay, we had to give
brand new. No,
we had to give up the 4-bedroom townhouse.
I'm driving 20-year-old cars.
Right. Okay, but that's you, and you've got somebody else that's helping you. You're not that person that did it. Okay, I'm talking about all these people and the same shit that I went through. Okay. I used to have all of this stuff, okay? I had that the 4-bedroom condo, with the garage. I had to give it up, okay? So we downgraded everything. My wife and my kids and I still stayed together, okay? Then we started over again. Then we ended up,
See, he says the word downgrade as if it's a simple act of, hey, I just need to sell my condo. Someone's going to buy it.
No, I was renting. I just backed off.
See, and there's another difference. Someone buying their home in a financial environment where no one's looking to buy their home from them. How are you going to downgrade? Oh, I'll just move out of my house. I'll live in my van.
Do like I did when I was over here in Frederickson. Okay, everything went to crap. My whole life just disappeared. I lost everything, and I just packed up my shit and moved out of the house. Let them have it.
Some people can't just give shit up like you and I.
Okay, well, then that's on them. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody else should not have to pay for it.
Everyone who was successful and then all of a sudden lost their job that was helping them be successful, that's on you.
No. It's still their choice. You know, you're either going to make the adjustments that's necessary, or you're going to be living in a tent on a street, living in your own filth, pooping where you eat, you know, dealing with rats and everything else, dealing with the drug addicts, dealing with the people that are shooting and all this kind of stuff, instead of concentrating on getting you your life back. Okay, you have to step back.
But
it's just like
here's the key word: getting your life back. See, that's what he's
you gotta step
alluding
back,
to.
Step back.
Whereas what I'm alluding to is some of these people will never get their life back.
Not exactly the way it was. Just like mine right now is not exactly the way it was. Okay, you got to make concessions. You got to. There's always going to be change.
Yeah.
You've got to learn to be able to work with the change.
Some people aren't
in
a position where they can afford to make the same concessions that you and I can afford to make.
Then they got to change.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be change.
Hey, listen, I'm as cold-blooded as you.
I'm not cold-blooded.
F these people and they should just die off.
No, that isn't what I'm saying.
No, it is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is they can make a change. They can make the change. Kill
your kids, kill your wife, enjoy your life.
My life, I've still got my wife, still got my kids.
That's you.
Okay, because I was willing to make the change. I was willing to make concessions.
Some people go to war and they come back and they have lives. Some people go to war and they come back and they kill their family and they kill themselves.
And some people go to war and never come back.
And some people go to war and never come back.
Okay, but the same thing can happen.
So you just got to make those. You got to adapt and you got to make those changes.
Yeah, just like over here. Okay, there was a shooting yesterday over here by 40th.
Yeah.
Okay, and McKinley.
I'm sure there were 110 shootings in the middle of Chicago.
Yeah. And around here, okay, but I'm saying,
and you know why
just
there were
within
more
a few
shootings in
here.
Chicago than there were here? Because there's stricter gun laws in Chicago.
Yeah. But the point is, is that you can't say that because I do this is going to happen. Okay, there's too many random factors. Okay, I could get killed.
I understand that.
I could get killed. My whole family could die.
I can also understand that my buddy who had a way of life that is different from what you are used to as your way of life and don't want to understand.
No, I'm willing to change in order
to
survive.
A livable wage.
See, if I needed to,
a job where they need to give you one.
Yeah, see, if I needed to, if that was the case, if I had to live in a tent down here, living in filth, around drug addicts and people with guns and people that just want to cause all kinds of chaos and bull crap, I would pack up and move to some place that I didn't have to worry about that.
And I understand that.
And
it's easy for you to say that.
No, because I've done it.
It's easy for you to say that. Yes, because you've done that. But not everybody is as flippant about the situation as you are, and is not as available to make the adaptions that you are.
Then where is the fault?
The system. The fault is in the system.
And who makes the system?
No one I know, because if I could name them, I'd probably be dead.
No, the system is a collaboration of the elites that you're talking about. Okay, but it's
the
also,
people should run the system, and the people don't run the system, and that's why there's problems.
Because they're complacent. That's why they live in their filth.
And they're stupid. But they're stupid and they're complacent because they're taught to be that way, and they allow themselves to be taught that way because they're complacent. It's a vicious cycle. It's a never-ending loop. It's a Mobius striptease.
There you go. That is the point right there. It's a never-ending loop, and what we need to do is break the loop.
And if we could break that loop,
we could.
If we could break
that's
that
where
loop,
we go back to.
We don't want you to break that loop though, because we want to be famous.
No, in order to break that loop, we got to go back to the beginning of this conversation.
We want that loop to be broken because we want people to be custodial to the planet and exist in a life of happiness, and that means that the changes are going to be very rough, and we're going to lose a lot of people. But that happens in nature. It's like a meteor hitting the planet. Not everybody lives.
Like I was saying at the beginning, and the very beginning of this conversation, if we started enforcing the vagrancy and giving people a choice as to how they want to deal with it, do you want to leave or do you want help getting out of the situation, then you have a chance. But if you're going to continue to do like you're doing, it'll never change. The loop will never break, and it's going to continue to get worse. That's why the shootings down here yesterday were so close to home, because it's moving up the hill from where they were to where they're coming. And that's where ready. You and I have to continually run them off. And it's not going to get any better. But and with what you were saying earlier, it's just as easy for me and my family just to get totally wiped out because they decide we become complacent, and we allow the neighborhood to get overrun with this, and then they start having gunfights out here and bullets come through the house and kill us all.
I'm ready.
I've already been shot once that way in White Center.
I'm ready.
Well, I would prefer not to take the chance. Okay, I would prefer to keep it away from here.
I'd prefer it wasn't even in our thoughts, but that's the way we are. That's the way we're designed right now.
Yeah, but we can change it.
When the design changes, life will change.
Well, we can change it, but there again, do not defund the police. Go ahead and start letting the police actually do their job without getting in trouble.
Retrain, not defund. Retrain, because we've talked about this before, and there's a lot of different countries that have a lot of different systems for their police, and I like the Japanese and I think it's the Austrian style where they have the police like cops that aren't armed, but they're out there so you see the presence. And then when there's a problem, they call what we would call our SWAT team. So they're police that are armed that come out to defuse a situation. And then they have the elite police force that come out guns blazing right now to end a situation. And I think that's a good system, because if we had more presence of police that were trained to be communal servants, as they're supposed to be, we would see a very large decrease in crime, especially if police were selected to serve in their community, within their community, so they knew people and people knew them and they knew what was going on.
Yeah, it should be made more personal.
Yeah.
The police should become more involved, and I have seen a lot of that going on. Okay. A lot of videos and everything, where the police are actually out talking and playing basketball with the kids or whatever. And that's great. But, they can't continue to do that if there's not enough of them. And the more that we punish them for doing their jobs, then there's going to be less of them.
Well, that's a huge problem, too, because we do punish them for being good cops. Good cops are ostracized.
Right.
And
that's why I'm saying we need to allow them to do their own job.
Why did you become a police officer? Well, because I wanted to help my community. Well, you live in Port Orchard, but you're doing your police services in Whatcom County. How are you serving your community? Well, this is where they put me. So, you join for all the good reasons, but you're not able to fulfill those reasons because of where they place you.
Or because of how they treat you when you try to. Okay, we've had discussions about this before.
But a lot of times they place you somewhere else because they don't want you to have that connection to the community, because they want you to be disassociated, so that when they say, hey, go over here and arrest Mrs. Brubaker because she's not paying her rent, or kick her out of her house, boom, you're able to do that because you don't know her.
She's not your friend.
You're just following your orders.
Yeah. But the police ought to be allowed to do their job, and
should we let it go Wild West? Should we let him just be
no? Because Wild West,
judge, jury, and executioner.
No,
No, come on.
And look, most of the cops don't want that either.
Yeah, but you're talking about these homeless people making crappy decisions that brought them into this nest of shit.
No, what I'm talking about right now.
So why not, when the police come,
with
because there was a shooting, just kill like 3 or 4 of them, and then those people learn.
I love the way you always got to take what I say and put it into some other context.
Get used to that. That's what I do.
Which makes it a complete bullshit line.
Well, okay? Yes, that's because you must be joking.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Your conversation, you must be. But
it's all a joke.
Yeah, but if you allowed the police to actually do their job, there wouldn't be that many down there because it's kind of contagious.
But see,
okay, if you
conflating how many homeless there are to how police do their job is kind of a straw man argument.
Not really, because when you think about it, originally
police don't determine who's homeless.
No, but in the beginning of this main deal, okay, the police were taking the people that were homeless, instead of letting them have their little communities, they were separating them out. They were forcing them to continue to keep moving.
Well,
okay,
they weren't separated, but
that's what they were doing. They were running them out.
Because when I first moved here, there was a place down under the trestle over there, and it became so hazardous that they ran them all out. You know where they moved? Over here by the park over here. And it became so hazardous that they ran them all out. You know where they moved? They moved up over by the Blueberry Park. And it became so hazardous they ran them all. So it's not like they're dispersing them.
What they were doing was they were keeping their numbers down.
But they're not.
Well, like there was a guy down just if you got on the freeway and you took the
over there at the exit, where the guy with the tent,
right there at the bottom when you were going towards the Tacoma Dome.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a guy with a tent there. When there was 2 tents, they ran them off. Okay, then they had that tent city pretty much that they started up underneath the overpass. Okay, and then is when there got to be like 5 or 6, that were there regularly, then they started trying to run them off again. Now this is at the beginning. Okay. Then they started allowing the motor homes and that kind of stuff to all congregate, and they started designating areas for them.
Yep.
That's when they started getting the bigger crowds, and then these people were going, and it was more normal to see them running around all over the neighborhoods. Then the stealing and this kind of stuff started getting more and more and more, and the home invasions were more and more and more. Okay. But every time the police, and then the city got to where they decided that the police were not allowed to force them to leave, unless they did something, out that was illegal or whatever, more so.
And then they changed that law.
Yeah, and so right now and everything, I mean, you see all over the place. Porch pirates going berserk, car thefts more and more. They're breaking people's cars open. They're busting into garages in the daylight.
It's all by design.
Yeah, but it's because they've already allowed it, and they're allowing and becoming more and more tolerant towards it, and they're not allowing the police to actually force the issue.
Yeah, well,
okay.
It's all by design. Why do you think they're allowing it? Why do you think they're tolerating it?
Because they're too lazy to do their jobs. So,
pretty good.
Yeah. Anyhow, feel free to go ahead and just let us know what you think.
Please.
You know what? I just realized something.
That you got your ears lowered?
No, that I knew right away. That was a very happy moment in my life. It was getting to where it was really running out. Let's see where
I need to trim the hair in my ears. my SO said something about it. That means it's getting a little wild. What the?
Okay, well, I wasn't sure. But, it looks like we do not have anybody saying anything on there either. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching here on Mixcloud. You guys could have actually said something in the chat, although I wouldn't have noticed.
No,
until
it's all
just
right.
Now.
It's all right.
But thanks for watching anyway.